Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today I'm back with another video here. So, this is not going to be long for me tonight. It's going to be short and sweet. Very boring hockey game tonight. 30 shots total through 2 periods, 15 each for both teams, 9 in the first for each, 6 in the second for each. Very boring. Very low energetic. And the Flyers right now are basically a glorified AHL team. I mean, for the injuries and what they are. Lines were a little different, Farabee with Frost and Tippett, Hayes with Cates and McEwen, Willman with Brown and Leksinski. So Leksinski gets called up. The Flyers send down Zamula, which I'm fine with because he hasn't played since November 5th. Delorier was said like in Bellows. Defense is the same. Provorov, D'Angelo, Sanheim, Braun, Sealer, Rizzo, and Hart was in net. 2 goals off of 2 odd man rushes for Calgary to open this one up. And Huberdeau scores off the rush, and it was a bad kind of change, and not in the sense of Provorov kind of went out of the play because D'Angelo went up, and then they ended up getting caught. So it's 1-0. Huberdeau scores. He had so much time just to pick a spot, and wasn't really. I don't want to criticize Hart here because both of these goals were savable, but it's not like he had all the help in the world. So you don't want to give up 2-on-1s and odd man rushes like that. So the Flames would get a power play before the second goal. And the Flyers penalty kill did a really good job in this game, and overall was much better than recently. They have lost 7 in a row, and again, I'm trying to find the small little positives here because, quite frankly, I have to. I can't always talk about the negative. There are some positives in certain areas, and the penalty kill I thought tonight was one, and Joel Farabee getting on the board was another. But again, the Flyers, good night for the PK, bad night for the power play. And the power play goes 0-for-3. Dubé would score on that one, and this one goes glove side. So again, D'Angelo's was caught up ice twice, and no forward got back to help out, and that was something that Tortorella talked about. I feel like Tortorella has kind of given up the sense of trying to win these games. I think he's now starting to realize that there is all of the injuries, okay, and all of the guys that you're going to have out for probably about the next couple of weeks, with you have obviously Couturier, Atkinson, Allison, Konechny, all that stuff. Again, we're going to be getting the update what seems like tomorrow on these guys. There's a tweet from Sam Carchidi about that, and I feel like post game he was just like trying to find the positives and kind of what was kind of happening, and Tanner Legzinski comes up here, and he was actually had a really, really solid stint with the Phantoms in second game against Providence. Legzinski had a goal and an assist, 8 shots on net, could have had a hat trick, and he ends up coming here and he scores his first NHL goal off a tip, off of a spin kind of pass shot from Hayes. It was a good play, and he continues that success from Lehigh Valley. Bellows draws a penalty. Flyers get a power play. Tippett had a bullet of a one-timer that went wide. Not really anything outside of that. Second period, Flyers controlled play in the first couple of minutes. They had a couple of looks. D'Angelo had a shot that got through the net from the point, and then the Flames had one chance and one opportunity where they just got into the zone, cycled, and Anderson scored off of a deflection. And outside of that, the Flyers were stuck in their own zone. They get scored on, and they literally could not set up a play after that. There was maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 scoring chances after that. They just looked so off in transition, exiting the zone. And again, a lot of that is, you're injured. You don't have as many guys. And look, I'm not saying the injuries is an excuse. The Flyers will continue to die on die on that grave of, we were injured and this and that and the other. But the reality is a lot of other teams are able to squeeze out everything from these guys, and the Flyers just can't. For some odd reason, I don't know. So end of the second period, Flyers had a power play in that period, which was really couldn't really do anything with it. Good entry by the Frost, good entry by Frost, and then Tippett had a shot but went way wide. McEwen had a chance of the rush. Farabee was high sticked and the ref didn't see it. That may have changed the game. Who knows? Whether it was by his own, own flyer or if it was a flame. Regardless, wasn't called, and the Flames get a power play early in the third. They don't cash in. Flyers had good job on the penalty kill. I thought the Flames did a much better job of just getting out of their zone, and I shouldn't say that. I guess more of having zone time, because I felt like in the second they were able to get out of their zone quick. The Flyers couldn't really pressure, and the forecheck was kind of something that Tortorella talked about and wanted to continue to happen, and unfortunately they weren't really able to get much going off of that. The first line tonight for the Flyers, the Farabee, Frost, and Tippett line, they struggled. And it's different because you're going up against a really good line in Calgary. I mean, I'm looking at the lineup sheet here, and the Flames have Ruzicka, Lindholm, and Toffoli was their top line. So, better. And Ruzicka's a guy who's played well for them so far. He's got, 7 games played. He got 8 points. Lindholm, 17 games played with 16 points. And Toffoli, 17 games with 13 points. I mean, the Flames were a struggling team coming into this game. But for that lineup of Farabee with Frost and Tippett, which just got put together and only played one game, a little bit of a different, mix. And they just were so out of rhythm. I really didn't like Frost tonight. I thought there was a lot of plays where he was just struggling. And I don't want to say he wasn't horrible. It was just there was a lot of plays where it felt like they could have been able to kind of get something going, and they just seemed off. And that happens. It's going to be a long year. It's going to be a growing year. But my thing is, when does the growing get, harped and stop? Essentially, when you continue to lose, because you can't really do much growing if you keep losing. You have to see some sort of a end result, and a process to this. And the good thing was Farabee gets on the board, and he's a guy that's been struggling, and he scores off of just a pizza up the middle, steals it, takes advantage of it. It's 3-2, and the Flyers had chances late. They had a power play, really didn't do anything. Hayes missed the net wide open on a one-timer. You have to generate on those chances for a team that isn't going to generate as many looks as they are right now, with how injured they are. You have to score when you can, and that was what they were doing in the beginning of the year. They had more forwards, they were generating a good amount of chances, and they were cashing in, and they got good goaltending. Now the issue is you've lost majority of those forwards that you had, and your best player in Travis Konecny for right now. And unfortunately, they aren't able to create as much offense. And the special teams has dipped a little bit. PK was good tonight, which is a good start. And Farabee getting on the board are two things that I kind of take out of this. But the power play has to be better. I mean, there's enough talent to continue to score. So another thing, tonight was Hockey Fights Cancer Night. And as most of you know, with the fan club, former president from 2006 to 2017, Joe Fisher passed away. And this was on this past Saturday. Joe passed away of cancer. So, unfortunately, I feel like everybody, unfortunately, and it's so sad to say, but I feel like everybody has a sort of a story about cancer and how it's affected them. And it's such a horrible disease. And, for me personally, my grandma passed away of cancer, and for those who know me, I was very close to my grandmother. We used to actually watch my videos when I would do these after, at her house. It's, being older, and I haven't, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to talk about. I mean, I haven't really, I guess, been able to really understand. Like, I was young when she passed away, so it was different. I still do carry a piece of her with me every day. I do notice that, and I think a lot of what what I'm doing now, and I don't mean to talk about myself, but I think a lot of what I'm doing now she'd be proud of, and I'm glad that I still had those moments with her when she was sick and all that stuff, and being able to watch and literally what I would do right now when I was 12 years old, and things like that. So, for going back to Joe, Joe was great. He was such a kind, loving man. He really loved the Flyers. Such a nice guy at the fan club meetings, and for those who met him and for those who knew him, he was just an incredible guy. He really was, and it's a shame. It really is. And to his wife Maureen, and everybody, I'm thinking of all of them, especially everybody in the fan club and stuff. And it was a very nice tribute from the Flyers as well. So thank you to the Flyers for doing that. And yeah, again, I don't mean to end it on a sad note, but yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And Flyers take on the Capitals on Wednesday night at 7:30, and then Pittsburgh in the Thanksgiving Showdown Black Friday game, like every year for the Flyers. And we'll see what happens. Thanks everybody so much for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon.